So today I want to talk about career sites. Stick with me. There's some good thinking here. There's some good ideas here. Career sites are the tent pole of everything we do. It's the platform we control most. Yes, you have to deal with IT. Yes, you have to deal with your platform provider, but go ahead and try to tell LinkedIn that you don't like their color scheme. Good luck with that. It's the platform that you own more than any other. Can we bring my slides up, please? It's a platform you own in a way that you simply don't have any value over. You don't have any control over like you do this. It is where you put your message. It is where you put your values. It is where you put your benefits. It is where you put all the information you want a candidate to see either before they apply or during the application process. Best case scenario, every single candidate shows up and reads this. And there at the top was a space called the hero space, the hero section, the hero image. It is the most valuable part of this tentpole platform. It is where you put your strongest message. It is where you put what you want people to know about you. It's where you put the thing, the takeaway, the most important process of this, the thing that you hope that all these people see and remember about you. It's the most valuable piece of real estate you own. And yet somehow they're filled with, well, this. I appreciate, and I've been in the rooms with you. I've been in similar rooms where you have those conversations about the career site, where you're arguing and discussing what you're going to put at the top. And you have great ideas. You have grand plans. You're professionals. You have good thinking that you want to bring to the table. This is your place to frame the entirety of your recruitment message. And while you're having that conversation, there's some, let's call it a hippo. For those of you who don't know that term, it's highest paid person's opinion. Let's say it's the senior vice president of whatever the hell. And he says, you know what? Let's just call it careers. And you're stuck. That's all you got. You're stuck. Once the hippo has voiced their opinion, there's no getting past it. Argue over the fact that that hippo is never, ever, ever going to look at another career site ever again. They're never going to look for another job the same way you and I would. It doesn't matter that it's been a decade since the last time they've looked at an actual job posting. They voice their opinions and you're stuck. So it's very easy to say, let's blame the hippos who just don't know. But I don't want to do that. I think there's a deeper challenge at play here. In fact, it's a deeper strategy that we've gotten too used to living under. So first, I want to answer the question, how did we get here? Where so many companies, look, I didn't hide in those logos. And I'm not here to tell you anybody that these people are bad, that they're doing wrong work. Some of these people are incredibly good, exceptionally good at what they do, not just in employer brand, but in marketing and branding. You saw some of those logos. One of those logos spends $4.4 billion every single year on marketing and branding. So they kind of know what's up. And yet they too are stuck at the careers section. And despite the fact that it looks like you started a restaurant in a food court and somewhere between the Philly cheesesteak and the pretzels with the fake butter smell, you've built a restaurant and the sign just says food, and you wonder why no one shows up. The challenge is, how did this become acceptable? How did we get here? Where so many smart people are having to put careers at the top of their career site as if they don't know what it is. You don't put book on the front of a book, do you? You don't put car on a car. Everybody knows what this is. Everybody who clicked the link knows where they were trying to go. There is no reason to have and waste, to be perfectly blunt, the insanely valuable resource and real estate at the top of your career site. So how did we get here? Well, to me, it's a function of we don't always know, and maybe, and maybe you all know this feeling where you're in front of the keyboard, in front of your computer, and it's time to write another LinkedIn post. It's time to write another job posting. It's time to write copy for the career site. It's time to write or build something, and you kind of go blank. You just don't know what to talk about. You've said the values, you've said the benefits, you've shown the talking head video from your CEO. You've done it all, right? You're good. You've done it all. What do you say now? Writing that first LinkedIn post is easy. Writing the 50th is work. And so what do? We default to an approach, and this is very broad brush here. I get that. But we default to the idea that in the end, everything we should do should focus on making it attractive. Make it attractive. Being attractive, that let's just put career site because it's attractive enough. Let's stick a really pretty photo at the hero image because it's attractive. Let's make some really pretty copy on the job posting because it's attractive. Let's make a really good looking video to make it attractive. Let's build a Canva library of all these posts we can make about how we're hiring and join us that use similar templates. We're here to make it attractive. Hell, the metaphor most often used in employer branding is that of a magnet. We are here to attract people, as many people as possible, because that magnet metaphor is pretty dead on. It is indiscriminate about what iron it attracts. It attracts all the iron. It's attractive. It's right there in the name. We make it attractive because we don't know what else to say. We make it attractive because it's safe. We make it attractive because that's what everybody else does. And I'd suggest that for the last 10 to 15 years, being attractive has been the strategy driving every single employer brand I can think of. Now, I'm not here to beat anybody up. Truly, I am not. The honest truth is, 10 years ago, being attractive as a strategy, that worked. That was a great strategy. Do you remember 10 or 15 years ago? Do you remember what the internet was like 10 or 15 years ago? I have been in meetings. Yeah, I remember. I used to work at a big old agency. I've been in those meetings where you're watching 4 different execs who are literally on their phones telling you, yeah, we don't need to deal with mobile apply. No one actually applies for jobs on their phone. What the hell is that about? That was 10 years ago. That wasn't a billion years ago. That was only 10 years ago that we were still begging companies to understand that people wanted to apply on mobile. They wanted a decent career site. They wanted a decent experience. They wanted decent information. They were begging us for this. 10 years ago, the companies who invested a little bit of thought, a little bit of consideration, a little bit of writing skill, a little bit of design skill, they made their career site attractive. And in a sea of absolute dreck and garbage, being attractive worked. Being attractive was the reason more people who visited your career site applied, right? They would go, oh, this is yet another, oh, I have to look for a job. This sucks. There's another, oh, this is another, oh, hey, this is a really nice website. They're far more likely to apply. It is an absolutely valid strategy. Not even just that they're more likely to apply, they're more likely to share that site with someone else. Hey, you should take a look at this company. Hey, look, they say more than just join us. They're listing their values. Wow, you so rarely see a values-driven career site. I mean, now you don't say that, but 10 years ago, it was a rarity. The scarcity created its own value. The thing is, being attractive made sense. And honestly, it was easy. Everything could be made more attractive. Your career site, buy that. Job posting, hire a writer. Social media, buy that Canva, hire a kid. Whatever it was. Video, that's easy. Hire videographers, hire editors. It's easy. You just buy it. But that's the problem. Everybody bought the attractive. Everybody has a good-looking website. Do you have any idea how hard it is to find an ugly career site now these days? It is not easy. The bar is way high. Everybody, like the default template at a greenhouse, for goodness sake, is not bad. The out-of-the-box site is not bad. And if that's where the bar is, everybody just builds on top of that. They make it more attractive. And consequently, all of your career sites are very nice. To find a bad career site, you have to get to the regional plumbing distributor level of career sites, where this is, hey, if you want a job here, email us. It's hard to find an ugly career site. It's hard to find ugly social media. It's hard to find job postings that aren't clearly run through ChatGPT and said, make this more attractive, make this easier to read. We have raised the floor significantly. We are all very attractive. The problem is that strategy may not work anymore. There was a time in which the scarcity of attractiveness made its own value. Being the only attractive one in a sector, in an industry, in a space, so much value, so valuable, so useful. It was a smart strategy. But now that everybody's attractive, investing more in being attractive makes no sense. When everybody looks like a Kardashian, what's the value of looking like a Kardashian? There's no value in that. Everyone is attractive. So therefore, nobody's standing out. It's not a valid strategy any longer. Everybody has Canva. Everybody has a career site. Everybody knows how to use the tools. Everybody knows how to use CapCut. Everybody knows how to look attractive. That includes the hippo who told you to put careers at the top. Everybody knows the game is to be attractive, and so that's what everybody does. That's why there's so many vendors selling you attractiveness. They may call it video editing. They may call it career sites. They may call it platforms. They may call it chatbots, but it's all designed around making you look good, making you feel and seem good. That means it's an arms race. We're all doing it. And when one of your competitors gets a chatbot, guess what? You got to start thinking about maybe you need a chatbot. When somebody starts putting really nice video out there, well, I guess you got to go learn how to use CapCut real quick so you can put out nice video. It's a game that you can't win, but you can't afford to lose. You're trapped. An arms race is not a game where you can move out of it. It's not a game where you can actually win it. It's a game where all you can hope to do is hang on by your fingernails for as long as you possibly can, and then you'll fall. Because one of your competitors will get a new CEO who will decide that it's important that they have a better looking career site, and they'll dump $200,000 in it, and wango bango, that you've got a hell of a competitor who is now more attractive than you are. And now you have to match it, which is unfortunate, because to be fair, your recruiters hate this process. Your recruiters hate it because ultimately they have to say the same things every other recruiter does. They don't have direction. They don't have support. They don't have validation information. They have to gin up some sort of story that makes their company sound good because they don't know what else to say. You haven't fed them anything other than we're attractive. Sure, you dressed it up in we have great values, we have great culture, whatever the hell that means. But they don't have support. They're out there telling the exact same story every other recruiter is, and they know it. You've put a lodestone around their neck and said, figure it out. Hiring managers hate it because they aren't seeing the candidates they really want because you look like everyone else. And if you look like everyone else, why would the best candidates for some reason pick you out of hundreds and thousands, and let's be honest, hundreds of thousands of options? You're a coin flip. You look like everyone else. Yes, you're attractive in a slightly different way, but you're still focused on being attractive, and that's not valuable to them. Candidates don't want to know that. So they're not showing up. And the hiring managers are looking at y'all like, what are you doing wrong? Because they remember 10 years ago when this strategy was working, when being attractive attracted great candidates, it worked for them. But now it's not working for them and they're wondering what's going on. Your marketing hates it because you're not helping them strengthen their larger corporate consumer message. You're just being attractive. You're a bit player in the background of their particular stage. Right? They're the lead actor, but all you're doing is standing in the back row, just kind of looking not horrible. You could be farther forward. You could be closer to the star. You could be supporting them tell a better, stronger, more people-focused message about what the company is all about. But you're not. All you're doing is being attractive. And ultimately, candidates hate it because you look the same as everyone, and all they want to know is how you're different. Why you? Why? Why you? Out of the hundreds and thousands and hundred thousands of options they have, why should they not just deign to apply, but why should they fall in love with your company? Why should they choose your company? Remember, they are started to figure out that there are tools where they can apply to 3,000 jobs at the press of a button. Attracting them is not the challenge. The question is, how do you make them fall in love with you so that they decide to choose you, so that they understand why you? Now, first instinct says, shoot, James is right. I better go find some more money. I get that instinct. I really do. And honestly, if I thought you would give it to me, I'd say maybe let's try that. But let's not do that because it's not a winning move for you. You've asked for a lot of money. I know it feels like you're underfunded, and in a way you are. But at the same time, your budget asks keep going up and your leadership keeps going. Why doesn't the quality of talent raise with the level of budget? The answer is not more money. The answer is to change your strategy. The strategy of being attractive no longer works. It does not work. Spend more money to be slightly more attractive than everybody else. That'll get you an advantage for about a hot second before someone else decides to do the exact same thing. Any advantage you create, and by the way, that's what we're trying to do, is create an advantage, goes away. What do we do instead? I'd like to suggest that there's another strategy, and it's one that every single person in the sound of my voice, recorded or live, can hear and can take advantage of. There is a strategy that puts you in a position of creating advantage for your company, where you can stand apart, where you can attract the talent you actually want, where you can really succeed without having to double your budgets. It's the concept of being chooseable. And for my money, this is the next step, the next 10 to 15 years in employer branding and probably beyond. And we're going to talk for a couple of minutes about what the heck this means, because I know at least two of you went, chooseable. That's a word James made up, right? No, it's actually a real word. But this is what you want. You don't want people to mass apply to 4,000 jobs with a click of a button just because they can, and then eventually they pick the one that pays the most. That's not exactly a game you want to play. It's certainly not a game you want to win. But instead, if you can be more chooseable, you are going to get the people who are going to fit, who are going to be value adds, who are going to be connected to what the company's doing, who are going to align with your mission, with your culture, with your reward structure, to show up. And to not show up going, I guess, but to say, understand exactly what I'm getting into, give me. And isn't that what we really, really want? Don't we want these candidates to say, I want this? So what is chooseable? Let's define it because it does sound a little bit made up. And right now, Jim's making fun of me in the comments, and that's fine. He's not the first time. But the idea is that we want to be the option that candidates want to pick, not the one that they default to, not the one that they deign to accept, the one that they want. The word want, the word desire are sadly short in supply in our world. We want candidates to not say, okay, I'll take this job. We want them to say, I want this job. When can I take it? How can I take it? What do I have to do to get this job? That is what it means to be chooseable. And like I said, every single person who can hear this can become chooseable. And we're going to talk about exactly how that happens. But first, a few assumptions. We have to agree on a couple of simple ideas. Otherwise, none of this works. And for some reason, when I posted this on LinkedIn 2 weeks ago, I got a lot of fights. I got a lot of pushback. I got a lot of guff, as it were, if I was 60 years old, and I'm not quite. Thanks for asking. Candidates will always pick the option that offers them the most value. The problem is that so often the work we do puts us in such a ringer. We work so hard that we forget that value is not the salary. I mean, yes, salary is part of the value, but it's not the full value. Let's be fair. 2 jobs, one that pays $100,000, one that pays $100,000, but one of them you get to work from home. Those are 2 different values. Now, some people, the work from home value is more valuable, but for others, the work in the office is more valuable. But the totality of what you're offering a candidate, the mission, the day-to-day working experience, the reward structure, the status, the professional development, the culture, the support, the level of autonomy, the level of collaboration, all of it makes up the total value. And 101 times out of 100, the candidate will pick the one with the most value to them, not the one with the highest salary. Not that it's always us, but they will always, always, always pick the one with the most value to them. Sadly, we are not doing a great job showing our value, showing off the value of being at this particular company. What we need to do instead of building, for lack of a better phrase, an attraction engine, which let's be fair, if we took 2 steps back and looked at all of our recruiting sites and microsites and copy and videos and social and all this other stuff, that's kind of what we built. We built these attraction engines. Instead, what we need to do is build a decision engine. We need to make it easy for them to decide on us, which means, given that they decide based on value, what we need to do is define value to the people who want that value. This is where we need to live. This is what it means to build a decision. There's a couple of elements here that we're going to break it down into. And the first thing we need to do is understand how candidates think. Now, I spent some time at a little company called Universum, and they have some pretty insane level data, and they can break out, and they talk to up to 1 million potential new hires every year. And they ask them what they want in a job. And they have 40 different factors that they say goes into defining whether a person chooses a job, what they're looking for in a new job. And 40 factors is a lot of factors. I'm no dummy, but wow, that's a lot. I can't keep that much information in my head at one time. And to be fair, I don't think anybody else can. Certainly not the candidate. No, I think candidates are actually motivated by 3 simple ideas. What are we doing? How do we do it? What do we get when we do it? Simple as that. All a candidate wants to know when they're making their decision is, what are we doing at this company? What's the mission? What's the goal? What's the dent I'm going to make in the universe? What is the day-to-day experience? What are we doing? How do we work together? How do we resolve differences? Can we speak truth to power? Do I have autonomy, or should I be expected to collaborate? Can I work from home? How will I be supported? What is the day-to-day, and how will I be rewarded? Salary, bonus, title, status, professional development. All those things are rewards for doing good work. Ultimately, candidates are choosing based on those 3 questions. Now, when they're choosing, what they're doing is adding those all up, the value of all those things up, to understand what the offering is. Unfortunately, we've been put into a bit of a box where at the offer stage, all we really talk about is the last piece of the reward section. That's the salary, maybe the bonus, maybe the title. But as you can see, there are a lot of other questions not being answered to the candidate, which is why they're expected to choose the company that pays the most, especially when it's not us. We're not doing a great job speaking to the 3 primary motivations of a candidate, what they are desperate to learn about us, how they are making a choice, how they are deciding this company or that company. It is based on those 3 ideas. What are we doing? How do we do it? What do we get when we do it? This is just think of this as the lens through which every candidate looks at your social media, your career site, your job postings, your Glassdoor reviews, all of it. This is the questions they are seeking answered. This is how they want to understand. And anything that you tell them that doesn't fall in one of these boxes, just assume is on the floor behind them somewhere. It has fallen out of their head. They do not absorb it. They do not understand it. They do not care about it. Also assume that if you tell them that your mission is to do X and Y and Z and leave it at that, they don't believe you because there's no reason for them to actually believe you. You haven't given them proof. You haven't given them enough information so that they can believe the things that you're saying. Let's be fair. I did a survey very, very recently, last week, and I looked at 30 different similar sized biotech companies. And do you know 97% of them talk about how much they're saving lives, how much they're innovating, and how much they care about patient outcomes. They all say the same stuff. We list our values on our career sites as if it matters, as if there aren't just 12 values and we're just picking 3 or 4 of them that we like the most and putting some pretty words on them. You care about integrity? You're the only one. You care about the best answer wins? You're the only one. Of course not. Those values are endemic. They're everywhere. They are everywhere. So putting them out there doesn't help you stand out. Putting them out there doesn't mean anyone believes that. So when we think through the lens of candidate motivations, the next question is, how do they choose? Now, there's a lot that goes into chooseability, but for me, there's only 4 core ideas to remember: exposure, contrast, meaning, and proof. I want to break them down individually real quick. Imagine your favorite pizza, your very favorite pizza. And I know it's a little early in the morning for some of you, but that's okay. There are some people for whom it is evening and enjoy that. So hopefully you haven't had dinner yet, but I'm going to talk about pizza. You have a favorite pizza, don't you? Of course you do. You're a human being. All human beings have a favorite pizza. I don't care if it's the joint down the street. I don't care if it's Auntie Mangieri's New York City pizza. I don't care if it's made with cauliflower crust. You have a favorite. How is that your favorite? Well, first, you have been exposed to it enough to make decisions. Right? You didn't look at a picture of a piece of pizza and say, that's my new favorite. That would be insane. You would be a psychotic person if you did that. You have to taste it. You got to smell it. You got to know what it feels like in your mouth. You got to know if it's crunchy. You got to know if it's what's going on. All right, why don't you go for it? Okay. So you only have a favorite if you've been exposed to it enough. If you have enough information about that pizza to say, this is delicious. I love this pizza. Next is contrast. You can't eat one slice of pizza and say, that's my favorite. There's not enough information. Not enough information for you to say that's, I mean, if you only had one slice of pizza and said that's your favorite, I can't believe or trust your judgment. And frankly, neither can you. You have to have more options. You have to see other choices. You have to understand this is good, this is bad. The next, you have to have meaning. That pizza is more than the pizza on the plate. Yes, it's delicious, which is why you like it. But let's be fair. It's your favorite because there's meaning beyond the pizza. The pizza you grew up with. It's the pizza that you went on your first date with your spouse at. It's the pizza place around your corner where you hang out with your family. There is meaning